One guy who's used to being in the spotlight, though, the head coach of the Cibolo Steele Knights. We are so pleased to be joined on the phone by Coach Scott Lehnhoff. Coach Lehnhoff, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Greg. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
How is I know the offseason is young so far, but how has it been for you guys so far?
It's good. We got a good core nucleus of guys that's coming back, and they're working hard, and a lot of them played a lot of football, and they kind of understand the drill and what's at stake and what we're working for. But then again, as always, we got a bunch of young guys too that we're trying to get on board and get to understand the process and the way that we do things. So, like every year, it's start at the bottom and trying to get to the top.
You guys had another berth in the state semifinals. For most teams, that would be just a remarkable run. You guys come up short there to Katy. I guess at a program like Cibolo Steele, do you consider 2015 a success?
Up until a couple of weeks ago, probably not. Up until a couple of weeks ago, obviously Daubers down a little bit and disappointed and of course losing, but also the way that we did lose in that final game. Now looking back on the year, it's hard to say that was a disappointment. Being 14-1 and being as tough a schedule as we played during the year, being 10-0 coming out of that schedule regular season, and then make it to the fifth round is a great accomplishment for our kids and for our program. And it's in the recent time after that Katy ball game, it's just tough to remember that. But looking back on now, it was an outstanding year.
So far in your years at Cibolo Steele, you are 39-5 as a head coach. That is pretty good, I would say. What has been the secret to your success?
Well, we've got great kids, and you can't, everybody talks, well, they're well coached or they just got talent, and we've got great kids that are talented and that come from good families and a good community, and they work extremely hard. We've got a staff that's stayed together for the most part as a core group, really since day one, and throughout Mike's tenure here, and then as long as I've been here. So those would be the two, I guess if you're going to call it secrets to it all. Great talent and a staff that works hard and understands what we're doing. Football is important in Cibolo, Texas, from our administration to our principals, our teachers, the custodians here on campus. Football is important, and you've got to have that to have a great program.
We're talking with Scott Lehnhoff, the head coach of the Cibolo Steele Knights here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, one of the guys that you're seeing heading off to the next level, quite a playmaker for your defense, Mark Jackson, committed at this point to Texas A&M. What can you tell Aggie fans about the player that they're getting in Mark Jackson?
Well, they're getting an outstanding player who's a dynamic pass rusher who has really, in my mind, has a tremendous ceiling. His upside is still, and his potential is still just great. Mark is a full year young for being a senior. I mean, he just turned 17 years old, which he could very well have another year of high school if mom and dad had started him a little bit later or held him back at some point. He's got a frame that it seems like he adds about 15, 20 pounds every year onto, and it is good weight. It is muscle, and you're getting a kid who comes to work every day, has worked extremely hard in the weight room for us, has been a leader on and off the field. He's great in the classroom. He's a huge part of our PALS program here on campus, and assisting with the elementary schools and some of those kids that may have had a rough upbringing, and they're getting a great one.
Of course, two big-time playmakers on your offense are also, at this point, committed to Texas Tech. Antoine Cox Wesley, your big wide receiver, and then your running back, Bryson Denley. Two superstars, guys who are big parts of your offense. What sets them apart? What has made their careers at Steele so special?
Well, again, yeah, two guys that have had tremendous work ethic and been leaders for us. Both of them bring a little bit different traits. You know, Antoine is just a extremely long, athletic receiver that plays the ball in the air very well. Creates some matchup problems for a shorter corner. He's a guy that he's not going to blow you away on the track, but he was a 6'8" high jumper. Got out to the state meet in a triple jump and a long jump. So he's got some explosion there. And again, a guy that's just coming into his own as far as being a straight receiver. And when he puts on weight, he's gonna just continue to get better and better. Bryson is a kid that played running back for us, played receiver as well. We moved all over the field, kind of a jack of all trades type of kid. Bryson ran a 10.4 last spring in the 100 meters, which is lightning fast. And again, not just a track guy, but a tough kid who's physical, who I could see him playing maybe a variety of positions at Tech.
Was there one thing that when we looked at your team, every time I would talk about your squad, I would always just marvel at how many juniors and underclassmen you had who took starring roles on your squad this year. Was there ever a thought during the year of this team's going to be, this 2015 team's going to be good, but has the 2016 team, has the excitement built in your mind for them yet?
This is a good group, and we've known about this group that'll be seniors for us in 16-17. We've known about them since since they were a 7th grade group. They were a group that was undefeated, didn't get scored on their 7th and 8th grade years down at our junior high, and really it was a group of kids that a lot of them had brothers that played for us and have been around our program even as young kids, and so we've been excited about them for a long time. They've got a group below them, sophomores. It's another group that's had success and done really well. So I don't, it's hard to say you're going to be better than 14-1, and as good as we played last year at times. Last year, I think during times of the year when we were healthy, I felt it was as good a team that's ever come through Steele High School. And it's hard to say you're going to be that, but we surely could be.
One of the guys that really impressed me this year was Xavier Martin, your quarterback. How have you seen him grow into that starting role and into this kind of varsity role for the Knights?
Xavier's a lot like the great ones we've had before him, going back to Tommy Armstrong, who's finishing up at Nebraska this next year, and Braylon McCullum was a kid that ended up in Incarnate Word, who was a great player for us, and then L.G. Williams, who's now at Texas State as a freshman. They're all kind of cut out of that same mold. They're leaders. They've watched one another kind of grow up and do things the right way, and they're the hardest workers we've got in our program as quarterbacks, and they approach it the right way. And again, football is one of the most important things in their life, and they hold it dear, and they make sure that the guys around them hold it dear. So Xavier's as a sophomore, didn't know. We knew he had some raw tools. We knew he could run, and we knew he had great arm strength, and had some natural accuracy. And the jump he made from his sophomore year to his junior year, from his footwork to his mechanics, was just, it was night and day. He really didn't look comfortable doing anything as a sophomore. And then as a junior, he's the player that he was this year for us, and hopefully he can make the same jump next year.
We're talking with Scott Lehnhoff, the head coach of the Cibolo Steele Knights here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at #DCTF Live. Coach, it seems like every year you guys have a new star emerge on the defensive side. This year, of course, Mark Jackson was the guy everybody was talking about. Who is the next big-time Steele defensive star?
Well, we've got a lot of guys that play. 6 of the front 7 will return this next year, and those guys played lights out. J.C. Ivory was an outside linebacker who's an undersized guy, but makes a ton of football plays. Him and Jaden Johnson. Josh Crosland is a defensive tackle that started for 2 years for us. Josh is just everything you could want out of a high school football player and a defensive tackle. The way that his motor runs and the type of kid that he is. He's a little bit overlooked just because he's 6'5", 6'1", but he's already got a couple offers and a little bit of interest. The guy that's probably going to be a superstar someday is Caden Stearns, who's a sophomore safety who will play both sides of football. I don't know if you remember Greg, but his older brother Jordan played for us, was a great player, and is at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, he seemed to do okay for you guys.
Yeah. Jordan was a tremendous player, and Caden has everything that you're looking for is, at the Division I level, as far as the length and the speed and the ball skills. So really going to be counting on him a lot next year.
We would be remiss if we didn't ask you about the guy that you might know, a guy who used to be the head coach at Cibolo Steele, now heading to be the head coach at Bowling Green, Mike Jinx. Have you talked to Coach Jinx recently? Have you guys kept in touch?
Yeah, he's been hitting the recruiting trail pretty hard the last few weeks, as all these guys are. So I hadn't talked too much in the last couple of weeks, but we talked a lot going up into him taking the job and then right after, and I know he's excited. He's at a great spot there at Bowling Green. They've got a good tradition, and it's amazing to see the coaches that have come out of there and the success that they've had. So Mike is right in that mold, and he's a dynamic guy who can recruit all types of kids, and kids are going to want to play for him once he gets in the room and starts talking with them. We've always said at Steele High School here, good people make good football players, and it's probably the same thing with coaches. He's a great man, and will do guys the right way.
Obviously, you've got a great gig there at Cibolo Steele. Does the college game interest you at all?
It's intriguing. It's intriguing. A new challenge is something that I think as a competitor you're always looking for, and but at the same time, I do have a pretty great job here, and my family loves it, and we love being a part of this community and where we live, and I'm a San Antonio guy and a Texas guy, and there's parts of the job that aren't so intriguing to me. So we'll see if that opportunity arises and it comes. I'll cross it when we get to it.
Well, for now, we do enjoy watching your Cibolo Steele team, so keep up the great work. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the off season, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon down the road.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate everything you guys do for our game.
Absolutely. There he goes, Scott Lehnhoff, the head coach of the Cibolo Steele Knights, joining us on DCTF Live.